is going on? This is a much happier version of the Rando recap. Why can't they all be like that? We're out here.
It should.
It should be. We're out here getting a little garage workout in. Low stress game. Cats dropped 99 to 53 it was.
Mm-hmm.
Cats by 90 almost. We watched the Mark Pope post game before we came on here. You were watching some highlights. We're a little bit late. Your baby sister was not about bedtime tonight. But give me your thoughts on the game overall, and then we'll break down each player.
Player of the game, Modi.
For sure.
Mo Diabate.
Easy.
He was great in the paint. He got a few and ones. He got some turnovers. He did good passing, and he just did good in the paint. But
big bodied against those smaller forwards. That's where the game was going to be won, was in the paint for us for sure. We had all of our big men played pretty well, but yeah, Modi stood out. What were you getting ready to say though?
We don't need him to, but if he could get better outside the 3-point line, dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah, and he showed he can knock them down, not super consistently, but 38% from three, just to make them kind of respect that for sure. I agree that he has to be the reason why Pope went and got him was because how physical he was and how dominant he was when Kentucky played Bama last year. We needed that presence on the court for us. Okay, let's talk about, you said you want to go positives first. So you hit Modi first, big body, bullied these EIU dudes all night long. Let's go about Yelovich. What do you think about him playing that stretch 4 spot?
Really good. He got that 3, dotted someone's eye. Did really good there.
I thought he looked good in transition. Another a couple transition buckets that he got. One Jasper Johnson was able to give him. Him finish at the rim. He plays fast. It seems like, I know people question his defense. They think he's slow. I don't agree with all that. I think when he's on the court, the ball just seems to flow. Like he's a matchup nightmare. He can truly play that stretch 4. He sees the floor well, in my opinion. I think he's someone that needs to get some significant minutes to really test him and see if he can, be an SEC type stretch 4. We got to have someone fill that Andrew Carr role, right? And he's our best option right now to do so. Okay, yeah, you said he hit that big 3. He shows that he can score inside and outside. I thought he scored well at the paint too. Let's go Trent Noah. What do you think about Trent Noah's game?
Really good. He one of the good highlights he had. He got the ball. He was almost in NBA range, I think. He looked about passing it, and he didn't want to pass it. He just shot it, made it. That was really good. And
he's got such a pure stroke.
He should be our new Kobe.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, yeah.
Me and you were talking about that after the game. So, and when we say that, we don't necessarily mean the same player, but similar, I think. If you remember, Kobe Bryant, beginning of the season, was just the dude who was out there to shoot the ball, right? He could dribble, he could create his own shot, but he was really outside the 3-point arc. And then there were some injuries. Jackson Robinson goes down, and he all of a sudden needs to be a guy who can be a 3-level scorer, and he transitioned into that, right? He showed that he could put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. If Trent Noah can add that to his game over the next year, as well as being a 40, 45, 48% 3-point shooter, he's going to be dangerous. And he gets a lot of flack from non-Kentucky fans on the internet. But I think people are sleeping on Trent Noah. And you forget he's only missed 1 game. And then you come and watch him play, and you still watch him shoot. And he's got such a pure stroke. I mean, he's far and away the best shooter on the team. That's not a surprise for anybody that's been watching them. But if he can consistently knock that down, you can't give him any space. And like you said, he can hit it from the line. He can hit it from 4 steps behind the line. He's got unlimited range. And when he sees one goes in, watch out. Similar to Kobe last year. We'll talk about who we think the best player on the team is. I want to talk about Cam Williams. Super frustrated last game against Louisville that he didn't get a lot of minutes. I know he hadn't blown up the stat sheet, the box score in previous games, but he was brought here to be a 3-and-D guy, right? He's long, he's physical, and he can shoot the rock. And you saw him when he was in this game, his length, his ability, he got beat a couple times, but he was able to recover. Like, he is a nuisance on defense, constantly in the passing lanes. He is curious. I talked to you about this. We'll see what the folks watching think. He's Ansley plus, right? In my mind, he can shoot the ball like Ansley Amador could. He shows that he can do that probably better, or at least I have to go back. I don't remember the percentages Ansley last year and what he did at Tulane last year. But he's a dude who can sit out there in the corner and knock that thing down. He's also a guy who can play defense. Like, Ansley, wasn't the most athletic. Love him to death, but that just wasn't his game. But he was physical, right? We loved how Ansley's motor was. He would fight for rebounds. He could play that 4 spot. Cam could potentially play that 4 spot. I think he's physical enough. He's long enough. He is everything Ansley was for this team last year, plus some. Like, he's better defensively. He can get to the rim. He's explosive. He can play above the rim as well. We saw those highlights from Tulane. So that's my thoughts on him. That might get some pushback, but I just think that his role, maybe the way he plays, we look at that. Cam Williams needs a lot of minutes. I think he's an X factor for Kentucky because what he can do defensively, what he can do scoring the rock, shooting the 3, getting to the cup. He's somebody who, if he gets it going, can be special, which is why he was high on a lot of people's draft boards coming into the season. Before we get to the negatives, I think it's clear, very clear, that Denzel Aberdeen is by far and away the best player on this team. What do you think about that?
Yes, because he can get up there in the paint. He's a shooter. And the past, even though we lost the game against Louisville, he showed that he's a key player and how he can score with the ball in his hands. And if he gets a bunch of minutes and gets the ball right and sees the court perfectly, he's going to score.
Yes. He's a multi-level scorer. His your ears fell out. He's coming in the season, SEC Player of the Year nominee, Otega Oweh. Hands down, he's going to be our best player. We'll talk about him in a second. That hasn't been the case. Denzel Aberdeen has showed that he's a national champion, right? And he played behind arguably the best point guard in the country last year, at least in college ball, and Walter Clayton had one of the best runs we've seen in the NCAA tournament to carry that Florida team to a championship. Multiple games that they should have lost, Walter Clayton picked them up. And if you remember the national championship game, they were down to Houston. You inject Denzel into the game. He scores like 6 quick points, completely turns the momentum of that game, and then Walter Clayton comes back and is the closure. So Zell's got talent. He just played behind probably the best guard combo last year in the country. So he comes here. He's hungry to show he's worth the money. He's worth to be a starter. He wants to win at Kentucky, and we're seeing that hunger. Now to who we thought the best player was going to be, Otega Oweh. What do you think? I know you're frustrated because watching the game, you see the box score. He had 12 points, 3 assists, 0 turnovers, 4 for 4 from the line. Like, it's not bad, but I think you wanted to see him be what Mo D was today, right, and take over a game. We have yet to see him take a game over, and we've played competition where he should have easily been able to do that. And even Pope in the post game was talking about how Otega and Mo Diabate should be fighting to be all SEC type defenders, like to be some of the best defenders in the country. And Pope was very critical and was like, we're not seeing that so far. So what are you thinking about Otega Oweh and the effort or lack thereof we're seeing on the court?
I'm just hoping he can get back to how he was last season, and was like, if we won almost every time he was player of the game because of how he could score and see the court, and just if he had the ball in his hands, do good things with it. But I mean, he still is. He's doing good, but he can't. I feel like he is much, much like can't really see.
There's some regression for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it's twofold. It's probably more than twofold, but what I'm saying is, one, let's remember he spent a lot of time in a boot. So, there's a lot of the off season where he wasn't healthy, he wasn't playing. So he's still kind of getting to the rhythm. So maybe that's it too. Maybe he's still nursing a slight injury, which I believe was a toe or a foot, something like that. So maybe he's still kind of coming through from that. I also think there's a lot going on up here.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I got to play a certain way to impress scouts and increase my draft stock and go play in the NBA. When really, brother, just do what you did last year. Be Tegatron and go take over game. Be physical and let the outside shooting and the jump shot, let all that work itself out. You were on the cusp of getting drafted last year. And if you would have stayed, I would guarantee you would have got a two-way contract, right? The money to come back and the ability to increase your draft stock was more attractive. You come back. But just do you, man. Like, do you. And that will be enough to win us games. Kentucky, legend if you get us to number 9 and you're the lead scorer, the leader of this team. Not even lead scorer. That could be Zell, but if you're the leader of this team and the effort wise and defensively, that's what it's going to mean a lot. Mark Pope, our coach, captain, not leading scorer, not someone who you would lean on in a game, but was getting purposeful minutes on the way to a national championship. So I am not out on Otega Oweh. There's a lot of people super frustrated, and I understand that. The Michigan State game is going to be the one I thought it was going to be. I was hoping it was going to be Louisville, but Michigan State, that's the one where I got to see him bring the effort, right? Transform into Tegatron, take over that game against a very good, experienced team, an Izzo coach team, which is always going to be locked in. We looked like crap last year at Madison Square Garden, so let's go there, have him take over. I do think what we need to do is a little homework and look at his first 4 or 5 games last year, because we remember SEC play Otega Oweh, right? We remember him stepping on Oklahoma's neck twice and crushing their souls, one at home and then one SEC tournament when he hit those 2 game winners. But maybe there was a little bit of a ramp up for him too at the beginning of last season. We need to do that homework and see how he started off. Okay. So I know you're a big fan. We'll close out with this. J-Lo, dad's shoulders are all jacked up. you know what I look like most mornings, trying to just stretch. J-Lo, we saw him on the sideline raising his hands up, supposedly just coming off a shoulder dislocation. He looked like he had some pretty decent mobility. I still think he's going to be out a long time, but maybe it's not as bad as we think. That being said, point guard 2 role is now handed over to Jasper Johnson. You thought he played well. I thought he struggled at times. But I know you're obviously you're a big Jasper Johnson fan. So you're going to look at him more positively than negatively, looking for the good, which is okay. That's what you're supposed to do for your favorite player. But what did you think of Jasper Johnson when he came in there and played that point guard 2 role against this EIU team?
He had to play point guard. he wasn't the best at it, like you said. He struggled at times, but 8 points, 7 assists, two turnovers. So, but wasn't great from someone who is supposed to be really good and.
Your 5-star, right?
Mhm.
So I think I would agree in two ways here that you need the 5-star to take over a game at some point, like we saw Mikael Brown do against us. But you just rattled off the stats. Impressive. You remembered that 8.7 assists, only 2 turnovers. I think why we say he struggled is if you watched the game, there was more, right? He could have had more bites at that apple to have really a big game. He could have had a double points and assist game if he didn't have a couple of sloppy turnovers, sloppy plays out in transition. And there was a couple times where I saw him take the ball to the rack, like he didn't settle for a jump shot, so I like that. But it was just not. He was playing like he was still playing AAU ball, right? Still playing OTE, still playing at where the defense just isn't at a college D1 level, even against Eastern Illinois, right? So, soft takes to the rim, kind of trying to avoid contact. You got to be tough and get to the rim and at least draw a foul there because he's beating his man off the dribble. He's super shifty, and he's a lefty, so he's going to be tougher to guard. If he's going to go to the rack, which I want him to, he can't just try to live outside in the perimeter. He just needs to try to finish tough at the rim. But yeah, I think all in all, Kentucky did what they were supposed to do. This was a team who their two top leading scorers were not there. They had a short 8-man rotation. And just let's be fair, the Ohio Valley Conference is not producing the same kind of talent that Kentucky is. So we should have dominated them. We should have bullied them, and we did. Probably could easily drop 110, 120 of them if we had the starters in there more minutes. But Jasper Johnson he struggled, but got much needed minutes before you go into Michigan State, where you probably have to lean on him more than you really want to right now. But Zell, point guard 1, fully capable. Let's hope Otega Oweh steps up in that game. And then, our key players like Yelovich, Cam Williams, Trent Noah, those rotation pieces that are big for this team can step up in a big game at Madison Square Garden and get a win. And then we'll be back, right? What you yawning for? I'm making you tired. But now a big win against Michigan State in Madison Square Garden. We'll flip the script. We'll be back. It stinks we lost to Louisville, but there are many, many more ranked wins out there. Yes, we are definitely watching Louisville lose at the moment. Could Kentucky be on a 2-game football win streak and Louisville be on a 2-game losing streak? One can only hope. We'll see how this one goes. Let's go. I don't say this a lot. Let's go, Dabo. Let's go, Clemson. Let's finish this thing out. But, buddy, thanks for joining me tonight.
I do have a couple things to say.
Go, rattle them off.
Have we talked about Malachi yet?
We have not.
Great game today.
You liked Malachi's game?
Yes, like always. Great in the paint. Gets that ball off the backboard. Straight in the net. He's special. He's so very, very special. And let me just say the coaching was much better on Pope's side.
Maybe he's listening. A+ for Coach Pope. What would you give him in the Louisville game? You gotta be honest.
Mm.
Did he pass?
No.
No, not even a C?
C-.
Ooh, C-. Yeesh. But hey, good rebound, Coach. Now 11-2 after a loss. But I agree, buddy. Malachi Marino, he's. I don't know how much longer it's going to be, but Brandon Garrison, who had a decent game today. He used his body and smaller guys on him. He took advantage of that. I thought he looked a lot better, which he should have against this team. But BG should feel Malachi Moreno on his heels for that starting role and getting minutes. And that rotation could easily be JQ and Malachi, and BG's the one who is, the odd man out in that big man rotation. But got anything else?
No.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see how we play next week against Michigan State. Let's hope the Cats travel and get a win like we should have last year against Clemson. But let's hope and Clemson gets a sack. Let's go. 3rd and 9. Big time play. Let's hope we get a W. We need one. We need a W. Whew. Yeah. So you stink, Spartans. Love you, dude.
I do.
Go Cats. And use all UK ball, 25. Go to State Line Co. and buy you some stuff. Christmas shopping for dad, brother, uncle. They even got women's apparel, those hoodies. Sick. Go buy you something. They're probably sold out of polos right now. But go ahead and get you gifts. All UK ball, 25 at checkout, 25% off. And Louisville missed that game. Go Cats.
This is going to be the season.
Peace.